Before we dive into the madness of Karen crashing this party, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. Because trust me, you do not want to miss what happens next. Each episode gets crazier than the last, and you'll be the first to see every shocking twist. All right, let's get into it. Nobody expected the party to turn into a headline-making disaster. But when Karen walked through the door, everything changed. It was supposed to be just another Saturday night. The music was loud, the drinks were flowing, and the living room was packed with laughter and chatter. The birthday decorations glowed under the soft fairy lights, and the vibe was pure celebration. Everyone knew this would be the kind of party that people talked about the next day, just not in the way anyone imagined. The crowd was buzzing when the door suddenly burst open. That's when she showed up, Karen. Karen wasn't invited. Nobody even knew how she found out about the party. But as soon as she entered, every head turned. She marched in with a confidence that could silence a stadium, heels clicking against the floor, and a look on her face that screamed, "This is my show now!" At first, people thought it was funny. Maybe she was just crashing for laughs. But within seconds, the energy in the room shifted. Karen didn't just arrive to mingle. She arrived to take over. She grabbed the microphone from the DJ booth before anyone could stop her. "All right, everyone," she shouted, her voice booming through the speakers. "This party needs a real host, and lucky for you, I'm here." Laughter broke out across the room. Some clapped, others booed, but Karen wasn't joking. She strutted onto the dance floor and commanded the crowd like she owned the place. The music stopped, replaced by a tense silence broken only by her voice. "Rule number 1, she announced, pointing at the snack table. "No one touches the chips until I say so." Gasps erupted. People exchanged looks of disbelief. Who did she think she was? But Karen wasn't done. She moved from group to group, interrupting conversations, rearranging the decorations, and even trying to organize a bizarre mandatory dance contest. What started as awkward laughter quickly turned into frustration. The birthday girl, Emily, tried to step in. "Karen, you're not even supposed to be here. Please, just relax and—" But Karen cut her off. "Excuse me? Did you just try to tell me what to do?" The room fell silent. Karen's eyes widened with dramatic offense. "I'll have you know, I throw the best parties in town. You should be thanking me for saving this boring little get-together." And that was the moment the party shifted from weird to absolute chaos. The guests couldn't believe their eyes as Karen stormed toward the kitchen, muttering about improving the menu and fixing the playlist. No one knew what she was about to do, but everyone knew one thing: this party had just spiraled into something unforgettable. The kitchen was supposed to be a safe haven at the party. People ducked in there to grab drinks, maybe sneak an extra cupcake, or escape the noise for a few minutes. But the second Karen stepped inside, that safe haven turned into ground zero for chaos. She threw open the fridge like she owned the place. "What is this?" she demanded, holding up a bottle of soda as if it were evidence in a crime scene. "Flat, warm, disgraceful, absolutely unacceptable." Emily, the birthday girl, hurried in behind her. "Karen, that's my soda." "It's fine. People are enjoying it." But Karen was already dumping it down the sink, muttering about saving everyone from bad taste. Gasps filled the kitchen doorway as guests peered in, unsure if they should intervene or grab their phones to record. And then it got worse. Karen spotted the snack table. The chips, dips, cupcakes, all perfectly arranged earlier in the night. With a dramatic sweep of her arm, she began rearranging everything. She stacked cupcakes into a leaning tower, poured dip into a punch bowl, and crushed chips, with her hands like she was making some kind of bizarre party stew. People froze, horrified. One guest whispered, Is she actually serious right now?" Another whispered back, "I think she's lost it." But Karen didn't hear. Or maybe she didn't care. She spun around, smudges of frosting on her hands, and announced, "You're welcome. I just turned your sad little snack bar into gourmet cuisine." At that moment, the kitchen erupted, not in applause, but in shouts of protest. "What are you doing? That was the birthday cake." Are you out of your mind? Karen held up her hands like a queen silencing her kingdom. Relax, people. You'll thank me once you taste it. I have a refined palate. Emily was nearly in tears. Her cake, her carefully chosen, two-layer masterpiece was now smeared across Karen's fingers and dripping onto the counter. Guests pulled out their phones, filming every second, their disbelief turning into viral content gold. Then came the scream. Someone shrieked as Karen attempted to light a candle. Not a birthday candle, but an actual decorative one she found on the shelf, right next to the pile of crushed chips and paper napkins. "Karen, stop!" Emily shouted, racing forward to blow it out. The kitchen was chaos. Spilled drinks, ruined food, shouting guests, and Karen standing in the middle, smiling proudly like she had just improved the whole party. But deep down, everyone knew. This was just the beginning. If the kitchen had been a war zone, the living room dance floor was about to become the battlefield of the night. Music had finally started playing again after the kitchen incident. The DJ, trying to lighten the mood, dropped a crowd favorite. People were ready to dance, laugh, and forget the weirdness Karen had caused. For a few precious minutes, it actually seemed like the party might get back on track. But then, Karen reappeared. She stormed onto the dance floor, waving her frosting-covered hands like flags of victory. The crowd parted instinctively, leaving her in the center as if she were some unpredictable storm no one wanted to get too close to. "Ladies and gentlemen," she shouted over the music, even though no one had given her a microphone this time. Her voice somehow still carried. "We are going to have a dance-off. And guess what? I'm the judge." The DJ blinked at her, confused. Nobody asked for a dance-off. But Karen was already commanding the floor. She yanked one random guest forward, then another, pushing them together and clapping like a coach. "Come on, battle it out. Show me what you've got." The two guests, embarrassed, shuffled awkwardly. People tried to laugh it off, but Karen wasn't satisfied. "Pathetic," she cried. "This is supposed to be a party, not a funeral. Watch how it's done." And with that, she launched into the wildest, most uncoordinated dance anyone had ever seen. She flailed her arms like windmills, stomped like she was putting out imaginary fires, and spun in dizzy circles that nearly took out a lamp. Guests covered their mouths, some laughing uncontrollably, others too shocked to react. One person whispered, "Is she breakdancing or having a meltdown?" But Karen didn't stop. She demanded a circle around her, shouting, "Cheer for me! Cheer!" When people hesitated, she pointed aggressively at the crowd until they clapped out of sheer fear and second-hand embarrassment. Then disaster struck. Karen attempted a dramatic split. The room collectively gasped. She didn't quite land it. Instead, she slid into the snack table. Someone had dragged back into the living room after the kitchen chaos. Chips and dip exploded across the floor like confetti. The music screeched to a halt as the DJ cut the track in shock. Karen, sitting in the mess, threw her hands in the air. 10 out of 10, I win! The guests couldn't believe what they were seeing. Phones were recording from every angle. Emily, the birthday girl, buried her face in her hands, mumbling, "This can't be happening." But it was, and Karen was just getting started. By this point, the party was hanging on by a thread. Half the guests were ready to leave, while the other half stayed only because they couldn't look away. It was like watching a train wreck. You didn't want to see it, but you couldn't stop yourself. Karen, however, wasn't slowing down. Covered in frosting, chips, and crumbs, she strutted through the living room, with the authority of someone who believed the house now belonged to her. "All right, everybody, listen up," she shouted, clapping her hands. "This party is officially under new management. I am the captain now." A few people laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke. But then Karen started issuing actual orders. "You, move the couch. It's blocking the vibe of the room. And you, yes, you with the soda, stop drinking that. Hydration is important. Everyone switch to water. Immediately!" The DJ, who had been debating whether to pack up his equipment and leave, suddenly found Karen in his face. "Your playlist is garbage," she declared. jabbing a frosting-smeared finger at him. Play something classy, like opera, or, I don't know, whale sounds. Something with depth. The crowd groaned. A few people booed. One shouted, "Karen, just stop already." But the more resistance she met, the louder Karen got. She marched upstairs without warning, ignoring Emily's desperate pleas to stay out of private areas. Within minutes, guests heard the sound of drawers opening, doors slamming, and Karen's voice carrying from above. "Who decorated these bedrooms? The curtains clash with the sheets. Unacceptable." Emily was at her breaking point. She rushed up the stairs with two of her friends, trying to stop Karen before she destroyed anything else. Downstairs, the rest of the guests listened in stunned silence, phones ready in case something unbelievable happened next. And something did. Karen reappeared on the staircase landing, holding up a framed family photo she'd found in one of the rooms. "Can we talk about this?" she demanded. "Who took this picture?" "Terrible lighting. Awful posing. Honestly, I could do a better job with my phone." The crowd gasped. Emily's face turned red with fury. "Put that down!" she screamed. Karen blinked, almost amused, and hugged the photo to her chest like it was hers. "Relax, I'm just trying to help. You're welcome." At that moment, the entire party seemed to turn. Guests who had been laughing now booed openly. People began shouting at Karen to leave. Even the DJ grabbed his mic and announced, "Okay, seriously, you've got to go." But Karen wasn't budging. She planted herself on the stairs like a queen defending her throne. "No one tells me when to leave," she said proudly. "This party isn't over until I say it is." And that's when the chaos hit its absolute peak. The tension in the house was thick enough to cut with a knife. Every single guest was on edge, waiting to see what Karen would do next. Phones were up, recording every second. The flashing cameras making it feel less like a party and more like a live reality. Show spiraling out of control. Karen, still standing proudly on the staircase, surveyed the room like she was the star of a stage play. "You should all be thanking me," she declared, raising her voice over the rising chatter. "Without me, this party would have been forgettable." "I made it unforgettable," Emily finally snapped. She stormed to the base of the stairs, her fists clenched, her face flushed with frustration. "Karen, enough. This is my birthday, my house, my night. You've ruined everything. Either you leave now or—" Karen cut her off with a smug laugh. "Or what? You can't party without me. I am the party." The crowd erupted in boos and shouts. "Leave! You've gone too far. This isn't your house." For the first time all night, Karen's confidence faltered. She blinked at the sea of angry faces, confused that her audience wasn't cheering anymore. Then came the moment nobody expected. Emily's best friend, Sarah, marched up the stairs and snatched the framed photo right out of Karen's arms. "That's enough," she said firmly. The crowd cheered. Karen gasped dramatically. "How dare you? That's assault!" She stomped her foot like a child, but her voice was drowned out by the chorus of voices telling her to get out. And then, almost like a movie climax, Karen made one last, desperate attempt to regain control. She bolted to the DJ booth, grabbed the mic and screamed, "If I'm going down, this whole party goes down with me." Before anyone could stop her, she cranked the volume up to maximum, blasting static so loud the walls seemed to shake. Cups spilled, people covered their ears, and Emily shouted over the noise, "Turn it off!" Two guests rushed forward, wrestling the mic out of Karen's hands. Another killed the sound system. The room fell into stunned silence. Karen, disheveled, frosting still streaked across her face and clothes, stood in the center of the chaos she had created. Finally, Emily pointed to the door. Her voice was calm but firm. "Get out!" For the first time all night, Karen didn't argue. She scoffed, tossed her hair, and stormed out into the night, muttering about how ungrateful everyone was. The door slammed behind her, and the entire house erupted into applause and relieved laughter. The party was a wreck, snacks destroyed, music ruined, decorations trashed, but everyone knew they'd just witnessed something unforgettable. As one guest put it while replaying a shaky video on their phone, Nobody's ever going to believe this actually happened. And with that, the legend of Karen Gone Wild was born. And that's how one uninvited guest turned a birthday party into total chaos. If you enjoyed watching Karen's wild antics unfold, smash that like button, drop a comment about the craziest part you saw, and of course, subscribe for more jaw-dropping videos just like this. Trust me, the next one will leave you even more speechless.